Okay, so we are going to start with a little review of synthetic division. So we're going to get this set up to do synthetic division. So if we're dividing by x minus 3, then our k is going to be positive 3. So remember, it's always x minus k, so it's the opposite sign from what you see there. So the k is going to go over here, and that's our 3. Then remember, you don't have to write these up here, but I always start with the highest exponent and then go down from there. So I have my coefficients below that, so 2, -3, -11, and 6. Okay, so now we're going to do our synthetic division. So remember, to do synthetic division, we're going to bring down the 2, and then we're going to take 2 times 3. Okay, so 2 times 3 gives me the 6. And then after I do that, I'm going to add the -3 plus 6, which gives me 3. And then I repeat the process. So I'm going to take 3 times 3, and that gives me 9. And then I'm going to add, and I get -2. Then I'm going to take -2 times 3, which gives me -6. And then I'm going to add, and I'm going to get 0. So this is, remember, this is our remainder. And so in this case, we don't have a remainder. Okay, so when our remainder is 0, that means that whatever we were dividing by is a factor, and so is our quotient, our answer. Okay, so we're going to write our quotient down. So remember, we start, that's the remainder, and then this is the constant, this is the x, and this is the x squared. So we have 2x squared plus 3x minus 2. Okay, so 2x squared plus 3x minus 2, there is no remainder, so I don't have to put a plus a remainder. So this is my answer. That means that that is a factor of the polynomial, the original polynomial, and also x minus 3 is a factor. Okay, so we're going to be able to use this to figure out other factors, to be able to factor the polynomial, and then eventually to find the zeros. So think about, like, if I have 24, just the number 24, and I know one of the factors is 4. So if I divide it by 4, I get 6. There's no remainder, so that means that 4 times 6 is equal to 24. So my divisor and my quotient multiplied together give me my dividend. Okay, so anytime our remainder is 0, then I know that the answer and the divisor are both factors. Okay, so that leads me to the factor theorem. So the factor theorem says if your remainder is 0, then x minus c is a factor of f of x. And the converse, the other way around, is also true. So the other way around says that if I know that x minus c is a factor, then that means the remainder has to be equal to 0. Okay, so we're going to do another example of that before we talk about the rational zero theorem. So given x plus 2 is a factor, find the other factors. Okay, so it's wanting us to find what are my other factors of that. So I'm going to do synthetic division again. Remember, this is x plus 2, so the k that I'm going to use is -2. Okay, if you want to pause the video and try this on your own, go ahead. So I'm going to put -2 here, x to the third, x squared, x, and our constant. So in front of x to the third is a 1. In front of x squared, there is no x squared, so it's a 0. In front of x is a -7. And in front of c, or the c, the constant is -6. So we go ahead and bring down the 1, multiply by -2, add. So we get -2, multiply, we get 4. Add, and we get -3. Multiply, and we get 6. Add here, and we get 0. So that's our remainder. This is our constant, our x, and our x squared. So I'm going to write what's left over. So I have x squared minus 2x minus 3. Now, it said I wanted to find the other factors. So that's my answer, but I want to see if I can factor that further. Okay, so I'm going to factor that further. X and X, my factors of 3 are just 1 and 3, and the signs have to be different in order for me to get a -3. So I want to get a -2, so I'm going to make this -3 plus 1, so that'll give me -2x in the middle. So this was saying that x plus 2 is a factor, so I'm going to write the x plus 2 out here. Now, these are all of my factors, so they want us to give the answer as it said, find the other factors, so that would be the x plus 1 and the x minus 3. It doesn't want us to go any further. It doesn't say find the zeros. It just says find what the factors are. So if I were to multiply these factors out, I should get the original dividend. Okay, so that would be a way to check your answer. Okay, so that is the factor theorem. So I'm going to start another video for the rational zero theorem.